now built up our key signatures in both directions, all the way from C up to C sharp on the sharp side, and all the way down to C flat on the flat side. And we're going to put it together now in a primary chord chart. I've mentioned that you should have this written out in your book in several places already as we've developed it. On your first page, you may start with a C, F, and G at the top, and maybe get down 4 or 5 keys. Now we're going to fill it up in both directions, above the C with the flat keys and below with the sharp. Once again, your primary chords are your 3 major chords in every key, and they're numbered 1, 4, and 5. We always start in C because it's the most universal key with no sharps or flats, and it gives us a nice home base to work from. So if we're in C, we start on a C. We go alphabetically. C, D, E, F is our other major chord, the 4 chord, and G is the 5. When you practice then, you want to make sure you're good at C's, F's, and G's. Also, we have the option G7 to C. The next thing we want to do is we always go to the key of the 5th. So we'll play in G. The 4 is the C chord, the 1 from the previous key, and we add a D. 2 of the chords are in common, 1 is new. That new chord is the one that distinguishes these 2 keys and brings in the sharp for the key of G. So we have G as the 1, C as the 4, D is the 5, and it has the F sharp note in it. That's the leading tone in the key of G. We can also do D7 and resolve to G. Our next key, we go to the key of the 5th. We go to D. We have the G as a 4 chord, so those 2 are in common. The chord that makes the D key different from G is the A chord, or A7, and it has a C sharp in it. So the key of D has 2 sharps, the F sharp and the C sharp in the A chord. So D, the 5, becomes the 1 in the next key. G, the 1, becomes the 4 in that key, and we add the 5th chord. In practical terms, the way you want to be using this is that you practice those, C, F, and G together, G, C, and D together. Notice you get G's and C's in both keys, so you get good at them right away. D, G, and A together. D's and G's are traveling together. If you're practicing the key of G with G, C, and D, you could try some A's as well. If you're practicing the key of G with G, C, and D, you could try some F's as well. Because those chords are in these close keys, these keys are called closely related keys, and those are 2 chords you could borrow into the key of G, the F and the A. Moving along rapidly now, we'd move the A chord to be the root of the next key, the D chord becomes its 4, and E is the 5th. E has G sharp notes, so we have F sharp notes, C sharp notes, and G sharp notes for the 3 sharps in the key of A. E, the 5th, becomes the 1 in the new key, A becomes the 4, we introduce the B, E has a G sharp, A has a C sharp, B has F's and D sharps, so 4 sharps in the key of E. B becomes our next key, E is its 4, F sharp major is its 5. There are 5 sharps in this key. I'm just going to run out of room right before I get to my C sharp, but that's okay. B and C sharp are the chords in F sharp. We see these columns coming down, G, C, D, A, E, B, and F sharp. We're going up a 5th on the roots. F, C, G, D, A, E, and B, going up a 5th on the subdominant 4 chord. G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, and C sharp, going up a 5th on the 5 chord. As I come back up here, we've found out we're removing sharps from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 0 sharps in the key of C. If we had a key in which C came over as the 5 and F from the 1, then the key of F goes here above C. It has 1 flat. The 4 chord has to come right before a C chord, and it has to be a whole step away, so it's the B flat. You can compare this to the key of F sharp. F sharp had F sharps, B's, and C sharps. Compare that to the key of F. F sharp goes down a semitone to F. The C sharp with it goes down a semitone to C. So the B had to have gone down a semitone to B flat. So the key of F has B flats. You can practice those chords. As we get higher up here, we're going to get less practical in terms of your chord practice for a while. You will develop these chords as you go, but right now, you'd be focusing mostly on the natural position chords that don't have the flats in them as much. F had to have come here from the key of B flat. B flat becomes the 4 when we go this way. Therefore, the 4 becomes the 1 when we go this way. F came over here. So E flat is our second flat. B flat is our first flat in the key of F. E flat is our second flat, so the key of B flat has B flats and E flats. Again, compare this to the key of B. B natural had E naturals and F sharps. So B flat would have B flats, E flats, and F naturals. The key of E flat has 3 flats. Each of the chords represents the flat in that key, B flat, E flat, and A flat. The key of A flat has 4 flats, including the D flat now. And I've run out of room up here at the D flat. This chart I would want in your books. Because I'm standing behind it trying to write, I'm not making it very even, but you'd like to have a nice even parallel set of columns showing you all your 1, 4, 5s. In C we have C, F, and G. In G we have G, C, and D. If I were up here where I was going to get it in G flat, I'd obviously have G flat, C flat, and D flat, as all of those would become flat. That would be 6 flats. I didn't get a C sharp down here, but obviously if I have C, F, G here, if I got my C sharp jammed in here, I'd have C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. If I got my C flat key up here, I'd have C flat, F flat, and G flat. There are 0 sharps in the key of C. We have 1 sharp in the key of G, and it's the F sharp. It's found in this chord. Notice also that it's found here. If G becomes our new key, the note right before it has to become the F sharp, because at the end of the scale we'd have a half step. Whole, whole, half, whole, whole, whole. Half makes the key of G. Another way I can see that is to bring the F and the G to the end of the key of G. And notice I have to make the F sharp. When I go into the key of D, it's going to end with a D, so this C and D have to go to the end of it. And C becomes C sharp. So these 2 notes travel together. So we're going to have F sharps and C sharps in the key of D. When I get to the key of A, the G and A have come over here to end that key, that scale. So G's are sharp, F's are sharp, and we know C's are sharp. When I get to the next key, it's going to end with this E. So the D comes with it and has to become sharp. We know C's are sharp, and so on. So we get the sharps F, F, C, F, C, G, F, C, G, D, F, C, G, D, A, F, C, G, D, A, E, and finally F, C, G, D, A, E, and B. 1 sharp added every time we go. As we come up, we remove those sharps. Notice now, if I'm doing that, F sharp and G sharp end this key of G. They come as a 4 and 5 into this key, the key of C, and the F returns to natural. Therefore, if I finish off the key of C, these 2 notes, the B and the C, are going to become the 4 and 5 in the key of F, but I lower that one. So we go to the key of the 4 and lower its 4. The key of F ends with E and F. The half step is here. Those come into the next key as a 4 and a 5. There's a whole step there, so E is flat. The key of B flat has A and B flat, a half step. When those come into the 4 and 5 section of the key of E flat, there's a whole step between them, so the A has to be flatted. So now I'm adding flats as I go. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, and finally an F will be flat, where everything's flat. Just as we went to sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and B sharp, until all the notes were sharp. If you have room, you can add this information to that same chart, but I'd actually like to see a new chart made for this. Here are our keys starting with C. C is natural, G, D, A. Every time we go to a new key, we're going up a 5th. Remember, we always go to the 5th to make the new key, and we add a sharp. In the key of G, it's F sharp. Alphabetically, right before the G, it's the leading tone. In D, we'll have F sharps and the leading tone for D, C sharps. These are going up a 5th just like our keys are. In the key of A, we're going to have F sharp, C sharp, and a G sharp, the leading tone in A. Some astute observers are going to notice now that these are coming in the same order as these. Everything's ascending by 5ths. So A has G sharps. E would have the 5th above G sharp. D's are above G's, so D sharps are the 5th above the G sharp. We also remember this. Father Charles goes down. The key of B will have 5 sharps. including the A, and the F sharp has 6 sharps, including the E, ends. C sharp has all of them sharp, battle. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. These notes you'll recognize also being the same order as we did our flats. If we had a B flat, we would be in the key of F. If we had B flats and E flats, we were in the key of B flat. If we had B flats and E flats and A flats, we're in the key of this note, E flat. So now you can use this same chart, go back up, recreating the same notes but turning them into flats and finding out what keys have the flats. If we have B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat, we're in the key of A flat. The key of D flat would have those 5 flats, including a G flat. The key of G flat would have those 6 flats, including a C flat. The key of C flat would have 7 flats. They're all flat now, including an F flat. So the key of C down here has no flats. Once again, because everything is built in fifths, it's all reversible. C has no sharps. We go up a fifth, adding our sharps as we go. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. C has no sharps or flats. If I put it here and go the other way, battle ends and down goes Charles Father. We add our flats as we go this way. The 4 of this chord becomes the new key. The 4 of it is flatted, and that 4 becomes the next key. Its 4 is flatted, and the 4 becomes the next key. So we get our whole chart built here, going up and down in sharps and flats. Musicians commonly use this saying to remember the order of their sharps. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. So I like to picture a priest up here on a hill, looking down into a valley where there's a little war going on, and his name is Father Charles. He goes down the hill into the valley to end that battle. He's bringing peace to this war. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. We have 1 sharp F as a leading tone in the key of G, which comes alphabetically after it. Go up a fifth, 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. C sharp is the leading tone in the key of fifth above the G, which is D. So we're going up fifths as we add our sharps. On the other side of the equation, there's this guy up here. This is Charles's father, and he's waiting for the battle to end so he can go down. So battle ends and down goes Charles' father. These are your flats. Your first flat is B. B flat is in the key of F. 2 flats, B flat and E flat in the key of B flat. B flat, E flat, A flat in the key of E flat. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat in the key of A flat. 5 flats including the G flat in the key of D flat. 6 flats including C flat in the key of G flat. Finally, all your notes are flat, including the F flat in the key of C flat. The key of C has 7 natural notes. They're all natural. So the key of C sharp has 7 sharp notes. They're all sharped by then. The key of C flat has 7 flat notes. They're all flat by then. We can reformulate this one more time. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. The key of C has no sharps. Up a fifth, the key of G. Father, F sharp in the key of G. Father Charles, F sharps and C sharps in the key of D. Father Charles goes F sharp, C sharp, G sharp in the key of A. So you can copy this one out too. This is basically the same thing over and over again, but it's nice to rework it, have it written in page after page, and writing it out yourself several times as exercises so that you memorize it. One of the nice things about using this saying is if I asked you, for instance, what are the first 4 sharps and what key is it in? You don't have to remember them off the top of your head. You can say the saying. Father Charles goes down. Down is the 4th sharp. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. That's alphabetically before the key of E. If I go backwards, battle ends and down goes Charles' father, then I'm working on my flats. And if I do that from top to bottom, battle ends and down goes Charles's father. We know that the key of C has no flats. Battle gives us a B flat in the key of F. It's the 4 of this F. Battle ends, B flat and E flat in the key of B flat. The last one becomes the new key. So E flat becomes our new key with 3 flats. Battle ends and 4 flats. Battle ends and down in the key of A flat. The previous flat becomes the key. Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. By the time we get to the end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All 7 notes are flat, therefore we're in the key of C flat. C natural had 7 natural notes. If C becomes flat, each of the notes in the whole half series of a scale becomes flat with it, so C flat has all the flats. So those are your key signatures all the way through, sharps and flats now. Just write that out and try to practice the 1-4-5s as best you can, up to the places where you've learned all the chords that are relevant. And in each keys where you don't know the chords, that's your incentive then to learn one more new chord so you can do one more new key. So I'll catch you guys later and we'll play some more songs next time. Take her easy.